Hi folks, so my name is Leonard. You will not know me, but I am a past student of Deb's, and of course, when Deb the Great calls upon you to help, I think the only answer you have is yes. So Deb reached out to me just earlier today and let me know that the Connect agent was not going to be able to help walk you through the game, so it's my job today. And I think I'll be able to help because I've done very well in the simulation, and it was one of the more memorable exploits of my undergrad degree, which I am now graduated, because I am exactly 2 years removed from where you are right now. And so in 2 years, you can be graduated and be like, this backpack simulation was awesome. So, or at least I hope you all think that, but we'll see. Okay, I'm going to run through the marketing simulation quite quickly because you will be able to do practice rounds and figure out a lot of this for yourself, but just give you a high-level overview as we go through. So this is the screen you're going to see when you enter the live rounds as well as the practice rounds. All it is doing is giving you a few reminders, just to make sure that before you end your first turn, you're taking all of the actions you need to be taking. So when you start your first turn, and any turn, you're going to see this map. And so it's in the top right here, it's like a wheel. It's a hub with spokes. And so in the center here is where you're going to start after each turn, and that's where the results are going to be from previous turns. That's all it is. You get to see a few trends, position maps, that kind of stuff. I'll bring you through just to see what those look like. But this is the purpose of the central hub. First, first spoke on the hub is the segmentation part. And so you have 5 segments to choose from. For the purpose of this example, I just chose one at random, urban commuters. And so what you get to see here, just quickly, is very high level stuff. If you click on each one, you don't have to target it, but you get to see a little bit more high level stat in terms of high level stats on each segment, like this. So you can see a bit on demographic information, purchase behavior, price preference, and then their preferences in terms of the attributes. And for now, that's all you get to see, because after the first turn is over, that's when you get to see your sales to that segment, as well as the sales to other segments. Even though they're not your target segment, you can still sell to other segments, and you can change your target segment if you like, as well as feedback. How is your segment experiencing the product? How do they like it? It's most important to pay attention to feedback of your target segment, because they're the ones that you're trying to satisfy their needs the best. But you can also take a look at feedback of other segments. So moving on to the product, the first of the 4 P's that you've been learning about in class, here is where you get to build your backpack. Backpack simulation wouldn't be a backpack simulation if you didn't get to build a backpack. So you can choose like shape, straps, all this stuff. So the important thing that you would keep a track of are your attributes, your capacity, comfort, durability, waterproofing, and eco-friendliness. And that's all kept track on the left side for you, as well as choosing your features. And your features are these 9 options here. They each have a different cost. They might appeal differently to different segments. So you want to be consistent in terms of what needs am I satisfying, what target segment have I chosen, and choose appropriate features to satisfy those needs. Again, you can play a lot around with this in practice rounds, so I'm not going to go into depth on these. As we move forward here into pricing, you only have one decision here to make for pricing, and that's the unit price of your backpack. So you want to keep it mostly consistent with the backpack you've designed, as well as the target segment who you're servicing. Can they actually afford what I'm buying? Do they want to pay this price for the product? And you might choose a price accordingly. One caution, you need to hit confirm changes before you proceed to any other segment. Otherwise, any price changes do not take effect. Hit the green button. If you forget to hit the green button, you will not change the price. So make sure to hit the green button and change the price. That's happened before, and bad things have happened. Just don't forget. Do not forget. Okay, next section here, we've got the distribution channels. So there are 7 to choose from, including the direct, which I highly recommend you all keep the direct distribution channel. There's really no good reason not to include the direct distribution channel because it's the hint hint, it's the only distribution channel that takes a 0% cut from the retail price of your bag. That's a good thing. You have to weigh with each channel is the cut that they take. So on every dollar spent, like the discount retail chain's taking a 50% cut, that's hefty. Is the reach and the ability to sell to the customers that shop at this distribution channel worth the cut that I'm giving the retailer? So ask that question and also consider which distribution channels are most consistent with your price, your product, and your target segments. You're always thinking backwards as you go. So I'll just take an example here, the department store. This is what you, part of what you get to see when you agree to a distribution deal, because you're making a distribution deal based on the information, the high level, the 2 points that they give you up top. But then, once you've made a distribution agreement, you actually have promotions that you can run through that channel. So you have two choices for every channel. You can either offer a product discount or you can invest in market development funds. And I've had questions before about this when I've been the TA for this class, is market development funds do not develop the entire backpack market. They develop the sales channel. So if you were to invest in market development for the department store, you would develop the shoppers at the department store. So you might have more shoppers over time shopping at the department store as a result of spending market development funds. That's what that is. It's not suddenly tons more people are shopping for backpacks. It's just from people shopping for backpacks of the total market, maybe more will shop at the department store instead of other channels. So that's what that does, and that might be part of your promotion strategy. But as you proceed further into promotion, because this is sort of place, this is place and promotion mixed together in terms of the 4 Ps, we see pure promotion. And this is media campaign. So you get to choose messaging and media. There's 2 prongs. And this screen is not helpful right now, but it gets helpful over time because data from previous turns that have completed start to show up here. So you can make better informed decisions to alter your media campaign and make different choices. So keeping the urban commuters in mind, I just went and chose smart, safe, professional as my positioning messages because I feel that that aligns very well with the identity of an urban commuter, maybe their aspirational identity as well. They might see themselves as being smart, safe, or professional, or want to be. So I thought that was pretty appropriate. And after you choose whatever combination, you can choose up to 3 messages. You don't have to choose 3. It shows you some characteristics of your messaging, as well as which segments it might appeal best to. So those are important to think about as you play around in the practice rounds with what might be optimal messaging for your backpack and your target segment. So moving into media, these are the actual media vehicles that you can use as you create your campaigns. So you have lots of choices, as you did with the backpacks. You can choose from print, internet, television, radio, posters, and each one has a drop-down menu just like the backpacks did. Here I just went and chose Financial Journal because it's easy, it's the first one, but it also kind of plays into urban commuters because they might be the ones to read a financial journal on the way or on the way to work or way from work kind of thing. And so it shows that its demographic reach is far and away, commuters are the most that are reached by these financial journals. So one caution I'll give everyone, not going to give too many tips here because really this is all for you to play around in the practice rounds, and then it's trial and error. A simulation is not always going to give you the best results or appropriate results for what you think is going to happen, but you've got to take that and adjust your thinking. What are you learning? What insights are you gleaning that are going to inform your future decisions? And if you can reflect on those effectively, that's the most important piece of this simulation. Even though you're being marked somewhat, like, yes, you're being marked on the results of this simulation, the reflection, in my opinion, is the more important element of the simulation. So if you can explain your thinking and explain what you're learning as you go through, this is important. So I just chose the financial journal. Only tip I will give is to not go overboard. up front, do not blow your entire budget on media. It is never worth it. From the 2 years worth of results I have seen in the simulation, people that blow their entire budget on media never win, ever. So congratulations to you if you can find a way to do it, but I recommend that you don't. That's really plain and simple what it comes down to. Um, but you can choose as many media vehicles as you like. If you wanted, you could be choosing more than just the financial journal. You could also be choosing there's like comic books, there's video games. You have a lot of choices as you go. So once you've finalized the choices here for promotion, you get to see the competitor hub. Turn one, you're not going to see anything because your classmates slash competitors will also be making their initial decisions. It's only after turn one that you get to see anything in this spot. So for turn one, don't worry about this, but after turn one, it becomes very important. So this is the blue spoke on the wheel. And then once you've gotten to this point on the wheel, each time, assuming you've done everything in a linear process, you end your turn. And so this is the bottom right, but when you click it, it doesn't actually end the turn. It brings you to this screen. This is an awesome screen. I love this screen. I would take screenshots of this screen when I was doing the simulation myself, because after every turn, I could say, look, this is what I did. My product, place, price, promotion was so consistent. My hypothesis was that, let's say, urban commuters are going to shop for a basic backpack at a relatively high-end price because they can afford it and they see themselves as being affluent and able to splurge a little bit. I distributed through direct and the department store because I thought urban commuters are smart. They shop at a department store that has what they need at appropriate prices, let's just say. And then for positioning messages, again, smart, safe, professional, financial journal, like all this stuff, it's consistent. You can make it work and you can justify if you're writing paragraphs, and do write paragraphs. Don't just do point form if you can. On the reflection, because it just is more professional and better. But you can also see your actions this turn. It summarizes everything. Great, great screen. Only caution, do not hit yes and turn too soon, because then the screen goes away and all your decisions are locked. So do that once you're ready to end your turn, but this screen is great to take a screenshot of before you end your turn. Hint, hint. So after you've done that, you get tossed right back into the center console. You get to see the results once turn two starts. You don't get to see it right away. It's once Deb hits the button to start turn two. So Deb does this, kind of, in a way. You get to see this was first quarter because it was the first turn. Again, every turn is 1 quarter, not a year. Again, I've had that question a few times, but it's a quarter. It's not a year, so your decisions might play out over a couple turns. So you don't want to change things too quickly. So in the first quarter, we made 44 sales, revenue $1,700, net profit $650 or so, but we spent a different $650 in variable costs on our marketing. That's a hefty chunk. We see our contribution margin per backpack, overall market share 8%. Okay, maybe we could be better, maybe we could be worse. But this is where you compare and contrast to competitors. So here in the position map, you get to see where you stand as compared to your competitors by attribute of different backpacks. So here we are ML backpacks with a little blue dot. We're a little outside the trend line in terms of increasing capacity, increasing price. If we're not as successful this turn, maybe we fall in line a little further with that trend line next time. Just a thought. You can do this for each attribute. I'm only showing you one because you really need to be doing the practice rounds. It's so important to be doing the practice rounds and learning this for yourself. There is no better way to learn because I will not tell you everything. Next part of this center console that I think is pretty cool are the trend lines. Especially as more turns go by, you can track how you stack up in terms of units sold, net profit, market share, ad spend, like all these important categories that you want to be tracking. Okay, am I spending too much? Am I not spending enough? All of this stuff, like, am I selling enough? Am I selling to the right people? Like all this. What's my market share? You can answer so many questions with this center console, so it's pretty great. Once you're done, you can go see feedback from your target customer, or your target segment rather, customers from your target segment. And so looking at the urban commuters, how are they actually experiencing our offering? And so the product, they say it's a decent pack. They like it. Features, has some of the special features I'm looking for. Okay, so. Color, I love the color of this pack. Okay, keep that the same because that's awesome feedback. Size, a bit small, but it suits my needs. See, you know what? That's pretty consistent with where we said the trend line was for our other competitors in terms of capacity. So that's another little hint. Okay, maybe we increase the capacity a bit. Price, high, but still in my budget. Okay, so maybe they don't quite want to spend as much on a backpack as we thought. Maybe that we revise our hypothesis a little bit to be more in line with what our target segment is thinking and experiencing. So after you take that feedback, you take it into account. We're skipping over a few sections because you can make the appropriate changes to your pricing, to your promotion in your distribution channels and your backpack itself. That's fine. You figure that out in the practice rounds. Media campaign details. This screen, as I said, is going to populate, and it's more useful in the late rounds because that's when you have multiple rounds worth of data to analyze. And you can't tell very much after one turn. So yes, we went from 0 to 1 in terms of spending, or 0 to 650 in one turn. You can't tell very much from that. We lost interest somewhat, but why did we lose interest? We don't really know because it's been one turn. Were our competitors especially effective? Did we do something bad? We don't really know yet, but we can monitor this over multiple turns and see if there's a trend that we can action our future decisions on. So that's somewhat important to monitor. Just keep an eye on it. Again, practice rounds really help with this. Lastly, you get to see the competitor hub, and this is really important because you get to see all the backpacks that your classmates, competitors, have made. And so this screen's pretty cool. We're ML backpacks, and so you get to see, profit rank, we're number one out of 6. We did a great job there. Net profit 654, looks like rank 2 was 276. Well, that's a pretty good difference. We did a great job. Market share, 8%. Well, Snow Sport has 31%. That's not very good. So maybe that's something we focus on a little bit. But instead of just looking at this information, click on Leaderboard. At the bottom, it tells you that and more. Leaderboard is awesome. This is another screen I would highly recommend that you screenshot and save after each round because you get to see over time, okay, our market share is what, 8%? We sold 44 units. Well, that's the second least. Our return on marketing was 100%. Does that matter? Maybe. Customer satisfaction, 22%. Well, some have more, but we're all pretty similar. Product satisfaction, 27%. Well, some are as high as 37%. So again, does that matter? It gives you more information, and it's something that you can use to, again, compare back to your 4 Ps. Is this consistent with my 4 Ps? But are my 4 Ps consistent with my target segment and the needs that I'm trying to satisfy? You have to think about things backwards on the wheel, just a little bit, when you're thinking about decisions in terms of how cohesive are they, do they make sense, all these questions. And when it comes time to reflect on them, you're going to be able to better do that if your decisions go together well and if they are clear and cohesive. Because if they aren't, you're going to be a little scattered. So that's all. As you continue, that's really it for the simulation. But what I can tell you, these are the turn dates for your 10 turns. I believe you're scheduled to play 10 turns. You might be playing 8 turns, in which case Deb will clarify. Deb will clarify either way. But these are the dates that your at least first 8 turns will take place on, if not 10 turns will take place on. And then this is how your assignment score is weighted. So your 30% net profit, 20% market share, return on marketing doesn't matter, customer satisfaction score 30%, revenue doesn't matter, units sold 20%, and product satisfaction doesn't matter. So you've got to take that into account. What actually matters in terms of the results But at the same time, if you completely ignore things that don't matter, then justifying them in the reflection is going to be pretty hard, because a real business or in an effective marketing mix wouldn't just abandon certain elements unless there was a good business case to be made for them. So you're going to have to balance some things. But ultimately, when it comes down to the reflection, I think being able to describe your thinking, the why is always big. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? What did you learn? Why did you make certain changes? Why didn't you make certain changes? You have to ask yourself a number of questions as you go through the simulation and as you write the reflection. Because I guarantee you, the best written reflections, not only did they learn some things, but they made appropriate changes based on what was happening in the simulation. And they also apply knowledge from class. Always apply knowledge from class. Apply knowledge everywhere. It's never a bad idea to do so, but especially in an assignment like this where you have to justify your thinking and not just get the best result, being able to apply knowledge is huge. So I think I'll leave you with that, because you can do the practice rounds as much as you want to learn more about the simulation and how it works. But from my experience, having done the simulation and aced both components, yes, 100% in both, I would say that that's my advice. Just always keep things consistent across your STP, your 4Ps, um, your entire marketing strategy, really, as well as be able to explain your thinking when it comes to the reflection. Give examples when you can. Examples are important too. Make sure you have information on hand when you're writing the reflection to give examples. That's why you're screenshotting the different screens. And good luck. You're going to do great. Hopefully, you're going to think this is really fun. If you don't, well, only what, 10-15% of your grade? I forget how much it actually is, but it's relatively small. Um, but this is a really fun component. You get to compete against your friends. I don't think you know who your friends that you're competing against are, unless that's changed in the 2 years since I've done it. But you get to compete against some classmates, even if they might be unknown to you. So, pretty cool. Enjoy. And yeah, congrats on getting this far in the program, and hopefully the rest of your degree is awesome. Alrighty, this is Leonard, signing off.